Hello, gentlemen. I want to welcome you today to this class. As you can see, today's lesson is Unit 4 of your HNC in Business Level 4. So, Unit 4 is, as you can see, is Leadership and Management. So this is going to be our first class. My name is Patrick Justice. And so I hope you're okay, and today you're all ready for the class. Okay, I want to welcome you once more. So I'm going to showcase next in fact, I'm going to showcase the timeline. So this is going to be about a 6 weeks course. It will be on Saturday and Sundays. Saturdays here in class, and on Sundays it will be online. Okay, so we're going to be having Lecture 1, Lecture 2. So Lecture 1 today, Lecture 2 tomorrow on Sunday, online. And so we're going to have 3, 4 like that. So this is just give you an idea of how the lectures are going to be. Okay. This material you will also find in my Padlet wall, like you're already familiar with. So please make sure you endeavor to log in. I've already sent you all the links, so you can always have this file and follow up as well. Okay. So next we're going to be looking at the learning outcome for this lesson. The learning outcome 1, examine leadership and management theories and principles and their impact on effectiveness of an organization. Okay, so you students will understand the differences between leadership and management and how these roles affect organizational success. We'll particularly be looking at defining management itself, find out what management is by Henry Fayol. We're going to look at what management should do by Tom Peters, and the key roles of management, which is, if you like, profiled by Mintzberg, Henry Mintzberg. Next, we're going to look at the key skills and competencies of management, which would include the activities and the approaches to management. Okay, is that clear enough on what you will be covering? If you have any questions, by all means ask me. All right, just raise your hands if you have any questions. All right, or you can always get back to me as well. You'll find my email at the end of this lesson, and be able to contact me should you have any questions. Right, if everything is fine with this, okay, I have a question I'd like to ask you to get your background and your understanding of what the subject is all about. What is the difference between leadership and management from your own perspective? Let me cover that. What would you say is the difference between management and leadership? In your own words. Otherwise, here's the answer: leadership and management. So leadership involves inspiring and motivating people or workers, while management focuses on the organization, the organizing, the controlling, executing tasks. So there are 5. You will find out there are 5 different management activities, or that is profiled by Fayol. Okay, and so leadership is about inspiring, motivating, being humanistic, find out how you could put a human face to to management. All right, so if that's clear, we could start by introducing this. So this slide introduces the students to the concept of management and highlights the fundamental duties a manager is expected to perform. Management is the process of overseeing and directing resources, tasks, and people to achieve organizational goals effectively and efficiently. For example, a manager ensures a team completes a project on time and within budget. by allowing resources or by allocating resources effectively. Secondly, managers in a sales environment or sales team allocate responsibilities, ensuring that each sales person has the right resources to meet the target. Okay? So that's just giving you an understanding of what management is all about. Okay? It's about managing people, leading people, managing resources, coordinating, commanding, so you find all of that as we progress. So the question I have here is, in your own words, take 2 minutes or 3, how would you describe the role of a manager from your own perspective? Go ahead and do that. Okay, you have 2 minutes. Okay. Yes, yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. So you can have a model answer here. So this is the model answer for what I've just asked you. So managers ensure that a team works efficiently towards the organizational goal by allocating tasks, providing resources, and overseeing the progress of the activity. And number 2, what is the key difference between Fayol and Peter's management approach? Okay, Fayol focuses on the structural organization of management, while Peter emphasizes on the execution, inspiring and motivating people. Okay, the structural organization of management, you will find there are 5 of them. Okay, which you will see when we progress. These theorists, Henry Fayol, Tom Peters, Henry Mintzberg, these are people who have studied and researched about management and written several books. So you will find the books in the reference section towards the end of this lesson. So Henry's postulation focuses on the structure of an organization. What are the structures? What are the things you need to do, within management in an organization? Whereas Peter emphasizes, that employee is very important, but we must find a way to empower the employees. They are the executors. They execute work. So they are the team, the employees that carry out daily activities. So it's about focusing on those persons. That is what Tom Peters emphasizes. Okay? Because we must try and inspire them, motivate them, show them understanding so that they can bring out their best work. So by combining such leadership skills as well as management skills, work progresses, there's production, and the desired goal for an organization could be achieved. Henry Mintzberg highlights different managerial roles. There are 10 of them. You will see them in a minute, and he classified them into three categories. Okay, and you will see that as we progress. So going back to look at the definition of Henry Fayol, okay, Fayol outlines 5 key functions of management, which he refers to as planning, organization, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. That as a manager, at different aspects of your work as a manager, you would be organizing activities at some point or people. You would, control, command, instruct how work should be carried out. You will coordinate, creating teams, collaborating, communicating, and of course, controlling resources. It could be controlling humans, controlling, budget, capitals, materials. All of these are to be controlled. So you find that at some point, the manager will be doing all of these structural functions or key functions at a point. By so doing, they manage the company or the organization effectively. Is that clear enough, guys? Are you getting on with this? If you have any questions, by all means, raise your hand, ask questions, or send me an email, at some point. Example, using Fayol's, a marketing manager planning a product launch would use these functions to ensure that every step from organizing the team to controlling the project budget is covered. Secondly, in a construction organization or company, management plans project timelines, organizes teams, commands execution of the task, coordinate with various departments, and control budget and resources and other resources if you like, okay? So these are the things management does. So I'd like you to not only listen to this lecture, but reflect upon where you, because I'm sure you all work, you're all adults. Some of you may be managers already. So if you're already a manager where you work or a supervisor, think about what you're learning today and see how, or rather in this course, Unit 4, Leadership Management, and see how you can apply some of what you're going to learn theoretically into practice. And if you're not a manager or a supervisor, you're an executor or an employee, then of course, think about how you're being managed. How does your manager manage, daily activities? Does he or she apply any of this? Can you think about the way they manage you guys and what you're learning today? Does it have a balance? Can you identify any of those, traits? Okay? So this is how, so I want you to take it that way so that you don't just sit and write or watch me present this lesson, but to think about how you can apply it on a daily basis in your own activity. It could even be in your own home. You may also have be self-employed. Some of you here may be self-employed. If you are self-employed, then of course, think about how you can, how you manage your staff. How you can use any of these ideas. I hope I'm making sense, okay? So, quiz for Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol's definition of management lists the 5 functions, the 5 key functions of management according to Fayol. I give you again 2 minutes to think about that. Yes, okay. Right, that's okay too. All right. And then commanding, controlling. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, fair enough. We'll move on. Okay, so those are possible answers. Okay, planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. Next, we go into what managers should do. Peter, his perspective is, on management or leadership, emphasizes that managers should focus on execution, on the executors, delivering results, empowering employees. He believes successful management is about inspiring productivity, not just controlling the process. I just can simply call it being humanistic in your application of management. Example, a retail manager might motivate sales team by setting sales goals and offering incentives while ensuring they have the tools to meet the targets. Another question, according to Tom Peters, why is it important for managers to focus on execution? Anybody? Why is it important for managers to focus on execution? The answer is right about here. Delivering results, inspiring productivity, controlling. So that's just what the answers are there. Okay, let's look at Henry Mintzberg perspective. He introduces 10 managerial roles, which are divided into 3. Personal, interpersonal, informational, and decisional. That as managers, you'll be carrying out a variety of all of this. So at some point, you might be a figurehead or the leader in an organizational setup, or you could also be in monitoring or being a spokesperson, a negotiator, making decisions for your organization. You may be an entrepreneur or a disturbance handler, one who settles dispute. So if you look at following these 3 roles or categories, a CEO acts as a figurehead when representing the company. So, interpersonal. Okay? When representing the company in public, as well as being a leader, motivating teams. Okay? Being a leader, motivating teams. And finally, maybe a disturbance handler when resolving conflicts. So all of these are the traits, roles of management and leadership. So think about it. Okay? I have a question here, similar to the previous question, which is Mintzberg's role in which Mintzberg role involves resolving conflicts and unexpected issues in organization? The answer is there. Think about, okay, resolving conflict. So it's going to be disturbance handlers. Okay. Key skills and competencies of management. So there are various key skills and competencies that are expected that a manager should have. Okay? So let's discuss the essential skills for managers. These skills does not only go for managers, it could go for every employee. I'm sure when you were applying for jobs, you said that you were a good timekeeper, you're punctual, you're hardworking, you're a team player, all of these buzzwords that we normally use when we are applying for a job or when we go for interviews. Those are very vital skills. In management, a manager is supposed to have some technical skills. Technical skills in order to be able to manage within that specification, expertise in a specific field. Technical skills are expected. Humanistic skills or human skills, ability to work effectively as a team. Many of us will say, yeah, we have interpersonal skills, and we're flexible, we can work with other people, with team players. That's what it means, human skills. Conceptual skills, very, very vital. Not everybody have it. It's applying your intuition, being able to think strategically and on your feet to solve problems. You're looking at ways in which you can solve problems, maybe by experience, so it's referred to as conceptual, being able to think. An example could be a marketing manager needs technical skills to understand digital tools like computers and IT or some sort of gadgets. He also needs human skills to motivate the team, and also needs conceptual skills to plan long-term marketing strategies. Is that clear enough? Question here, why is it important for managers to have a mix of these three skills? Technical, human, and conceptual. Why is it important? Yeah, why is it important? Think about that. Why is it important? Write it down if you must. Okay? So here we use these four diagrams, or rather these four functions, this pictorial representation of the four functions and steps of management. So it kind of comprises the five structured Fayol's postulation or perspective. So at some point, you know, a manager or a leader will plan, make decisions to determine the course of action. They could organize, coordinating activities and some resources. They're going to lead, managing people and motivating them, as well as controlling, monitoring, and evaluating activities. So all of these are, you know, in no particular order. So these are the functions of management at some point while managing, okay? Here we have some activities that we're going to look at. What are these activities? Management activities, okay? Managers engage in several key activities such as setting objectives, monitoring performance, decision making, and providing feedback. These are quite important. Setting objectives like goals for the team, monitoring their performance and evaluating the project progress, making decisions that best leads to maybe best course of action, and providing feedback to improve performance, to guide and improve performance. Example could be a project manager in a team, in a tech company, sets objectives for each phase of the product development, monitoring progress and providing feedback as the systems develop, as they progress along by the team. All right? Look at this scenario. A manager realizes their team is behind schedule. What steps should they take? If you're a manager and you just suddenly realize that you're behind schedule, you're falling behind you, what steps will you take to catch up and improve? Think about it. Spend 2 minutes, you know, with the person next to you and think about it. Yeah. So each of you, a pair of you, should think about, discuss among yourselves, and then when you're done, you may become four, kind of snowball into four, from a pair of you to a four of you in that group, and that group as well as here, and expand and compare your answers. You could agree. You could also say reasons why you decided how you decided. Okay. So we're just gonna move on. Okay. So think about it. Okay. So this is looking at those activities, management activities in a table under planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Okay. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This has already been covered. Just look at it. Find time. You can pause this and look at it at some point. Carry on. Right. Again, you can look at it in two perspectives: relationship-oriented and task-oriented. That is approaches to management. How do we approach management? This can be done in two ways. Looking at relationship-oriented approach or task approach. Relationship, will be more or less looking at leadership. Okay, where you try to, understand the situations and the welfare of your team and motivate them. So emphasizing on interaction, focus on relationships, fostering positive relationship priority, emphasizing team membership and the communication, facilitating casual interactions. So that way you build a team that progresses and you manage that way, giving the management and the executors or staff the power to think for themselves. If it's task oriented, then this might be where you much more control, be kind of more structured, emphasize on work facilitation, focus on the structure, the role, and the task. Producing desired results is a priority. You want to see something happening at the end of the day. So there could be strict use of schedules and step-by-step plans, and there could also be reward or punishment or incentives for doing well, meeting deadline and target. Okay? So these approaches to management, there are two main other ways we can look at: system and contingency. So system and contingency. Okay? System, as you understand, what is a system? It's a process that have several stages that need to come together to create a whole. So if you imagine a healthcare, for example, here in a hospital, different departments like surgery, emergency, administration must work together in synchrony to ensure a patient care. All right? And contingency in English language just simply means more like a plan B or workaround. But contingency has been applied here in management to mean that you have the ability to choose depending on the situation. Okay? So for example, during a crisis, a manager might use autocratic approach for quick decisions, while in a routine operation may use participative approach. So as a manager, you will learn as we progress on this course, you will see the different approaches, the different management styles. So one of them or two of them you've seen here, autocratic and participative. Autocratic means being a more task-oriented, laid down hierarchy, steep border, and the commanding, approach. And they all work well depending on the situation. So because of emergency, there's a quick decision needs to be made. So there's no point trying to find other solutions. So the manager can single-handedly, autocratically make a decision on how things should be done because they want quick answers, quick results. So that's quite allowed, depends, okay? But in a routine task, maybe on a shop floor, general way of working, then the manager might be a leader that participates, but gets their hands dirty by rolling the sleeves up to get them to also perform like every other staff. Sometimes you come to an environment like in a shop floor, you wouldn't even know who's the manager because he or she is actually busy, getting their hands dirty and working and doing things. So that type of leadership is referred to as participative approach to management. Okay, so again, all of these have their own time and effects. All right. So that's the question. What is the main idea behind contingency approach? I already gave you that. Contingency approach, where you become selective depending on the emergency or the frequency or the need, the situation. You take you take an approach that's that will best suit the situation. So that is called contingency in this case. Is that clear so far, guys? How are we doing so far? Everybody happy? Yes, okay, fair enough. Right, so we'll look at a case study, another case study. A retail company is going through a major rebranding effort. The manager must lead the team through this change, keeping morals high and meeting new goals. Question: how can the manager apply Fayol's functions to manage the change effectively? And how would you incorporate Peter's focus on execution? So it's about looking at this scenario and thinking about the perspectives of Fayol and Peters and applying both ideas in a change situation. As you can see here, a retail company is going through a major rebranding. What is it by rebranding? Yes? Okay, rebranding, yes, that's correct. It could be just a logo rebranding, the image rebranding. And so, how could you effectively carry out this change with your team, keeping their morale high while achieving the new objective or the new goal? Okay? Think about it. All right, so here we're about finishing. So let's look at these final questions. These are multiple choice questions. 1, 2, 3. 1. What is the most important function of a manager according to Fayol? What is the most important function according to Fayol? A, B, C, or D? 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I hear somebody? Yeah. Did they say B? Yeah, that's correct. Planning is the most important. You got to plan before you can, move on to any other thing. So that's correct. So that's B. What about true or false? Mintzberg negotiator role involves representing the company in public. True or false? Yes. False. That's correct. False. Because in public, representing the company in public is when you are a leader or a figurehead, like the CEO. But negotiator, it's not in public, it's something that you do, maybe internally. All right, and lastly, short answer, describe how the systems approach can be applied in healthcare organization. Right, if you remember what we talked about in the, in hospital, we're using systems. Every system play a role. The A&E, emergency, the administration, the lab. All of these are different departments that carry out activities and come together to be able to give an answer to solve a patient, case. So, hospital, healthcare, the same thing. All right. Well done for that. What do we have? So this is wrapping up. Would you agree that a summary of the key theories and competences covered in this lesson include Fayol management, functions, Peter's execution-based management, and Mintzberg managerial roles. Do you agree we'll cover these three? Yes? Thank you very much. Yes, we've covered Fayol's management functions, which are 5 of them in structure. We looked at Peter's execution, which is about inspiring, motivating, motivating staff, and Mintzberg different roles, which we looked at personal, informational, and decisional. So, last question. You can discuss this in your team, on your desk there, a pair of you. How have you seen these management principles applied in your own work or study environment? Maybe individually first of all, and then you can discuss it. Okay, so the snowball from individually to the pair of you, and then if possible to the 4 of you. So it's about thinking about what you have learned in this lesson and how you have seen it happen at your workplace or in your study environment here in college, if you like, okay? Possible answers? All these answers are available. If you go into my Padlet wall, you will find this slide, and this slide have the answers on them, all the possible answers on them, okay? Is that clear enough? All right. So, in conclusion, understanding management theories and principles can help individuals become better leaders and managers capable of adapting to different situations and driving organization success. Okay? So there we go. Thank you very much. If you've got questions, thank you for participation. I'd like to answer your questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions. Questions? Yes? Okay. These are my details. You can reach out to me if you want to find me. Okay? If you have any questions. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, so these are some frequently asked questions that you may want to go and look at. When you pick up this slide, just go through this. It's not part of the lesson, but these are things you could look up, some quizzes, some case studies, interactive questions, okay? So that will help. You can do that in your group as well, okay? Thank you very much, guys. And that ends the class. So I'd like to thank you very much, guys, for your attendance on this lesson. It's been a pleasure having you. Like I said before, you find answers to these slides, and on this slide as well, you find in my Padlet wall, you have the links. Okay, if you haven't got the link, just send me an email, and and I'll reach out to you. Send me a message. Or rather, any of you in your WhatsApp group, you can share the link to the other people if you haven't got it. The admin in class can share the link to others. By all means, reach out to me if you have any particular questions. But I would prefer if you ask yourself the questions first, endeavor to try and help each other first. And where you have anything sticking out, then you can always reach out to me. Otherwise, I would like to say thank you very much for your attention and attendance. And bye for now. Bye.